Jackson it is from backward point, and there's no run.
Yeah, Jeff Foley seems intent on trying to, as they say, rip the ball a little bit here, so he's bowling fairly quickish, really, isn't it, Laurie?
Pushing him through.
Yeah.
Next delivery to Ball defends. Past the fielder at short leg, and they'll get a single. Castro comes in from backward square leg to do the fielding. So Ball now 28, and it's 2 for 56. The field just changing over for the left-handed Darren Weber.
That's 3 off the over so far. And they've worked the ball very well. That one then was flighted fairly well by Jeff Foley, but Marty Fall just worked him around the corner. They'll be content just picking up the one here, waiting for the loose ball.
Foley around the wicket, bowls to Lehman. Lehman forces out forward or just back to the square leg, in fact, for a single. So 4 off the over. That's the 50 partnership. And now on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's now 2 for 57.
Yeah, the 50 partnership come up in pretty good time, really, too, hasn't it?
64 minutes.
64 minutes. I guess it's a hard situation to come in when Darren Lehman did come in. And they've rescued it very well. We're just seeing here a replay of the toss this morning, and Jamie Simmons was with Matty Hayden, and he actually tossed the coin, and it must have been because the TV station wasn't ready for it.
It was actually Hayden hadn't told him who was 12th man.
Oh, okay.
And he put his foot on the coin and said, "What's your team?" And Hayden said, you know, Creevy 12, etc., etc.
Well, that's what it was
yeah.
it? Because I spoke to Jamie as he came off, and we'll wait for this ball.
So it's Muller again, and he's behind the Lehman outside the off stump, and allowed to pass through to the keeper.
Yeah, I didn't ask him that, because from where we were standing, it looked as though, they're not ready for it on Channel 9, but then obviously you've told us what had happened, and it was a good response from Matty Hayden. He was okay, but as Jamie was walking off, I said, "Did he end up winning both tosses?" And he said, "Yeah, I did, man. Yeah,
he won both."
No, he did win both tosses. Matty Hayden should have asked best out of 5 or something like that.
2 for 57. Muller, the southern end bowls to Lehman. Lehman defends up to mid-on, and there's no run.
Yeah, as we're saying, it's a good rescue mission here. It's very difficult when you lose a wicket and then guys have to come in and consolidate, and you happen to lose another. It's a lot of pressure. And Darren Lehman, I guess, has had a lot of pressure on him all year, and came through very well last week. It was unfortunate not to get his 100, but talking to Ken Cunningham before, and he seemed very certain that the way he's playing, he's going to reach it today.
Muller bowls. Lehman gets a no ball, which he works down a long leg. 3 onto the total. Now 2 for 60 on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. Lehman moves up to 26. Sundry's long to 6.
KG mentioned that to me when Darren Lehman was on about 2 or 3. So he hasn't put the moz on him, as they say, and he's now moved on to 26. It's very good. Hopefully these two can really build. And they were the two in the last game, Laurie, in the second innings, that resurrected the batting and stabilised it somewhat. Marty Fall getting 60, Darren Weber getting 97.
So Fall just holding up play here as Hayden makes some changes in the field. Third slip will come back into play. There's a short cover. Simon, he's gone to third slip.
Simon has gone to third slip, and I noticed him running. He looks like he's limping a little bit.
Keep an eye on that as Muller bowls outside the off stump. Fall shoulders arm, and ball goes through to keep a second.
Perhaps that's the way he runs when he's trotting. But he looks like he is limping a little bit on his right foot, favouring him a little bit, but I think he'd be okay, otherwise he wouldn't be out there.
Grange Hotel bringing you cricket in this first session of play. Redbacks won the toss this morning, lost 2 early wickets. That of Johnson without scoring, Parker also without scoring, both wickets falling at 7. Some recovery. It's 2 for 60. Muller bowls outside the off stump. Ball cuts down towards the member stand boundary. A chase for Maher. The batsman coming back for 2. The ball may beat Maher into the fence. In fact, he gets it just inside, about a metre or so inside the fence, and the batsman come back for an easy 3. So Ball now 31, and it's now 2 for 63.
Yeah, speaking of the Grange, they could drop a couple of beers off for us. I was only mentioning to a friend of ours in the box at the moment, Peter Farrell, was out. It'd be interesting to see how we'd go, just sitting back, right, having a couple of West End and trying to commentate at the same time. It'd be good fun probably for the first session, but I don't think the listeners would get much out of us after that. They might get more. Richie Freeman's in here and he says a couple of reds would be good too. So if you're listening at the Grange, drop them off for us, please.
Muller down the leg side to Lehman. And a diving take from second.
Then again, I guess people would say that perhaps you guys should have a couple of drinks and we can make more sense out of you.
And Muller there down the leg side, swinging away, and a good take by second.
Pretty sure Darren Lehman, as we said a couple of overs before, he would have been telling Marty Fall to have a look at him because that's exactly what he's doing at the moment.
Muller again, bowls, Lehman in the air, through mid-wicket. Castro will chase out towards the western side of the ground, and the batsmen come back for an easy two. So, expensive over there from Muller, 8 runs from it. And on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's now 2 for 65.
This cricket broadcast is brought to you by the Anti-Cancer Foundation. Remember, slip, slop and slap, supporting 5RPH.
2 for 65 here at the Adelaide Oval. Ball 31, Lehman 28. And jumping into the chair, left vacant by Brad Wigney. Eric Freeman. Eric just contemplating the lunch break, about half an hour to go.
Yes, half an hour to go. Good recovery so far by the Redbacks after being 2 for 7 with Johnson and Parker both back in the pavilion with Ducks. They got off successive deliveries, but it's been good recovery. 4 was dropped at 10. That first flip, he got 2 for that, then hit the next ball for 4. And since then he's blossomed. He's out to 31, Lehman 28. And I think since Lehman's been there, he's really been in Marty Fall's ear. And just giving him that little bit of confidence, telling him to have a good look at the bowlers, particularly Foley. Don't try and hit him out of the ground too early. Might be mincemeat a bit later on.
Foley from the northern end. Bowls to Fall. Ball comes forward, works him backward a point. Another single. Ball moves to 32, 2 for 66.
So Marty Fall 68 last Sunday. And he was dismissed, batted well in the second innings against New South Wales. And he's got to go on with that today. He was a bit tired in the second innings. Played a rash shot only moments before he got out, and then played across the line was a Judge LBW. Today he's got to go on with it. Quite warm and humid.
Foley, right arm around the wicket. Bowls to Lehman. Lehman comes forward, strikes him on the pad, and rolls out in the offside.
I think Brad Wigney would have appreciated bowling in these conditions today. Might have moved the ball a bit. Big fella, he's sitting in the back here enjoying a cup of coffee, not a West End or anything like that. He's got a cup of coffee.
Foley around the wicket. Bowls to Lehman, wide on the crease. Lehman works him back to the square leg. And the bats just trot through for an easy single. So Lehman now 29, 2 for 67 on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard.
Darren Lehman, he had over 7,000 Sheffield Shield runs, was it, at the end of last game? 7,032. Yeah.
51, very impressive average.
Great average, not too many others. Look at Matty Hayden, he's over the 60. It's a long way to go for some of the others.
Foley, and again, Ball gets a short delivery, cuts backward of point out towards the boundary, chase for Jackson. He's not trotting after that too quickly. The ball will roll into the gutter for 4. So ball now 36, 2 for 71.
Not the quickest of fieldsmen there. If it had pulled up inside, they'd have still run 4 on the shortest boundary. With Jackson chasing it, he's the quickest of players out there. It's interesting earlier to watch him in the covers. I think it was Jimmy Marr gave him 10 or 15 metre start and beat him by 10 or 15 metres to the ball. Like the Bay Sheffield.
2 for 71. And Foley in again to Fall. Ball comes forward, defends on the offside. No run. Marr comes in. Position at cover.
I was looking at Trevor Barsby's figures. I thought he had an average of 61, but it's his bowling.
Yeah, 1 wicket to 61. player, Trevor Barsby. And the 5,000 Shield runs to Queensland. Foley in again. Off the fall, well flighted. Fall drives up to mid-on. No chance for a run. 6 runs off the over. On the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's now 2 for 71.
So 2 for 71, South Australia, winning the toss and batting. Paul Wilson was 12th man, and Creevy, isn't it, for
That's right.
for Queensland. He was the 12th man. Coming into the side, we may have heard Ben Johnson's name mentioned without for naught, or Joe Scuderi unfortunately suffered a back complaint training last night and didn't come up this morning again. So apparently Ben Johnson only got to the ground at 10:30.
Muller bowls to Lehman. Lehman works him forward of mid-wicket. The batsman will get just the one. Castro does the fielding. Good bit of work. Most of the bowlers end. Lehman's through. He's now 30. It's 2 for 72.
Which is a little bit surprising. I thought maybe Ben may have been on standby as from last night, not this morning, because speaking with Andrew Sincock, he said that he only got to the ground about 10:30 and just had a couple of little hit-ups in the room and was told to put the pads on and out here. Didn't last very long. A little bit unfortunate for him. Hoping he'd really get going today. Seize the opportunity.
Muller bowls the fall. Ball comes forward, pushes up to mid-on. Jackson does the fielding. Good recovery this, Eric, from 2 for 7. Partnership now with 65.
Yes, they've got to keep going. They've got to build a really big partnership, this one, for South Australia, the Redbacks. They're going to have any chance in this game at all, because when we look at the Queensland side in this game, they have a very powerful batting lineup with Hayden and Barsby. Claimed as the best opening combination in Shield cricket at the moment.
Well, the bowls fall. Ball comes forward. They're going to get a quick single. Good running from these two. They've been keen to run the singles. Castro came in from cover. The ball now 37. It's 2 for 73.
He's probably got the batting line up there for Queensland. It's quite strong, apart from Barsby and also Hayden.
With Dixon, Marr, Simons, Foley, of course wicketkeeper second. And then the tail made up by Jackson, Castro, Dale and Muller.
Simon seems to be batting a little bit more consistently at the moment, and maybe he might be in for a big score here at the Adelaide Oval.
Muller bowls, and down the leg side, an attempted glance by Lehman through to wicketkeeper second.
Second, a very accomplished keeper. Had to dive a fair way for that one, but he got there, took it well in the finish. He was just aimed at about leg stump, kept swinging, and he was full stretch out when he caught that one. Of course, Wade second only takes his place in the Queensland side when skipper Ian Healy is out of the lineup with the Australian duties.
Muller again, bowls to Lehman. Lehman forward, up to mid-on, fielded there by Kasperwitz. Lehman 30, Paul 37, 600, 2 for 73.
And Brand Young scheduled to come in at number 7 again. Or was it 8? 8. He's going to come in at 8. So it was a brilliant performance from him earlier in the week. 91 not out. Hope he can repeat that performance here again, well, not so much today, perhaps tomorrow.
Muller bowls. Lehman defends out in the onside. Straight to Castro. Just moved to his left. Does the fielding. And falls safely through. So another run to Lehman. 3 runs off the over. On the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's now 2 for 74.
Are you receiving the very best in financial advice and planning? Patrick Whelan Investments, founded in 1978, is proudly South Australian and is operated by dedicated qualified professionals. Here's what KF of Fulham had to say.
We would not hesitate to recommend our friends to make a visit to Patrick Whelan's. We found them to be genuinely patient and very much up to date. Their excellent advice has made us feel confident that our future is secure.
For a free financial planning consultation, for listeners of 5RPH, ring Patrick Whelan Investments on 82722111. Patrick Whelan Investments, sponsoring 5RPH.
No worries. Fine. 2 for 74. Foley bowls to Lehman. Lehman defends. Off the back foot to Silly Point.
Yeah, Darren Lehman just pinching the strike off that very last delivery of the previous over. Tactics to shoulder Martin fall through here. We've got about a half an hour, just a bit under that for lunch. A lot of overs bowled so far. They're 3 behind schedule at the moment.
Foley around the wicket, bowls to Lehman. Appeal for caught behind down the leg side. Queensland fielders seemed very confident, but umpire Rick Kinnear, he was equally as certain that there was no contact made.
Well, he's bowling around the wicket, down the leg stump, and I think it was off the hip. It may have even brushed the glove on the way through, but for an umpire to be able to be certain to give that out would have been a remarkable decision. And well, he's still there.
Foley around the wicket, bowls to Lehman, and he struck on the pads. Ball rolls out on the onside. The score remains at 2 for 74. 74. Lehman is 37. Foley. Going from the northern end. And the delivery draws Lehman forward. It was a no ball.
That's handy.
Another 2 onto the score. 2 for 76.
Umpire Kinnear, South Australia, and umpire Bill Sheehan from Victoria officiating in this game. Surely the third umpire was, and one I didn't get a chance to see before the game.
Foley around the wicket. And again to Lehman. Lehman drives. Can't beat the cover field though. It's Hayden out there, the skipper, controlling the cover region. Score remains at 2 for 76.
He's faced 58 deliveries so far, Darren Lehman. He's been there for 80 minutes, coming in at the fall of the 2 wickets, Johnson, and then also Parker off successive deliveries.
Foley again, bowled, flatter delivery. Lehman off the hip, works the ball out to backward square leg. Jackson's down there. So Lehman now 32. It's 2 for 77.
As you mentioned earlier, Laurie, this the Grange Hotel, bring the cricket to you this morning session. A magnificent place down there on the beachfront. Very good meals. There's most of our hotels that we mentioned. It's a nice family atmosphere down there at the Grange Hotel.
Foley right arm over the wicket. Well, ball well flighted. Ball jabs down on the delivery. Gets the outer half of his bat rolling down below us here towards the third man boundary. Jackson chasing. The batsmen have 2. Fall sensing a chance to run 4, coming back quickly for the third, but the relay throw comes in. And just the 3 to fall, so 3 more to him. He's 40, and at the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, 2 for 80.
Been a good scoring rate by South Australia, 80 runs in 96 minutes, particularly when you've got the situation that Johnson and also Parker back into the pavilion off successive deliveries, both dismissed for naught when the total was 7. There were some anxious moments for the South Australian batsmen, Fall and Lehman. Not so much Lehman, he hasn't made too many errors out there. Fall was dropped when he was 10, a slip off of Castro. He got 2, the very next delivery he hit backward a point, or in between the gully and fourth slip, I think it was, for 4. It's a little bit more settled since then.
Grange Hotel bringing you coverage of Sheffield Shield cricket as the first delivery of a new over. These Fall again beaten outside the off stump. Well, he needn't have played that. Pushed forward, beat the outside edge through the keeper.
So the South Australian Blind Cricket Club too have got their big sports night on the Sunday of the Test too, Laurie, at the Regal Park Motor Inn. Just including Mike Coward, Joe Hode, Tony Crafter, Colin Croft. $15 includes supper. I'll tell you in a moment where you can order your tickets from.
Well, the bowl down the leg side, and contact made by the batsman through to the keeper.
And tickets available from Rosemary Penn, 82616171. So that's 82616171. Tickets from Rosemary Penn for that South Australian Blind Cricket Club. What a wonderful effort, Rosemary. Done over the years there in helping to assist in that area.
Muller again on the southern end. Bowls the ball. Outside the stump. Ball tries to cut. Gets the bottom edge. And it bounces before going to the gloves of wicketkeeper Steckham.
Yes, the the Blind Cricket Club been going for a long, long time. They have, well, over the years, they used to have some games against the South Australian cricket team. Some remarkable victories, too. It's hard when you've got to use their ball. But we all appreciate the efforts that the disabled put in.
Muller bowls outside the off stump, swinging away, and ball offers no shot. Looking to get to the lunch break. 22 minutes remaining. 2 for 80.
The Blind Cricket Club, when they play some of their carnivals, they have to travel interstate, and it does cost them a little bit to travel. If we can help them in any way, and this sports night was set on Sunday the 26th at the Regal Park Motor Inn at 8 o'clock.
Muller again, bowls to Fall, outside the off stump. Fall angling into the right-hander. Ball shoulders arms, and again through to the keeper.
Those guests again, Mike Coward, what a wonderful speaker you're hearing on the sports show on 5RPH during the week. Nathan and David Hooks interviewing. And, he is just a tremendous guy, Mike Coward, knows a lot about the game of cricket and many other sports as well. Joe Hode, Tony Crafter, test umpire, Colin Croft, the pilot.
Muller bowls to Fall outside the off stump. The end of the over. No shot offered by Fall. Amazing on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. It's now 2 for 80.
Can you imagine your bank giving free advice on how to secure a better home loan elsewhere? Well, that's exactly what you'll get from Peter Buss at Home Mortgage Services. How? Home Mortgage Services deal with a number of banks, and by matching their various home loan options to your individual requirements, Peter will find the very best deal for you. And who pays? The bank. Makes a nice change, doesn't it? Phone Peter Buss now on 8410-5677. Home Mortgage Services, proudly supporting 5RPH.
So Foley will continue from the northern end, and he's bowling around the wicket to Lehman, and Lehman gets the delivery, which he thought about playing the cut shot too, and at the last minute decided he didn't want to, and allowed the ball through to keep a second.
Yes, and you'll afford to lose a wicket at this stage, Laurie, South Australia. We did say that last week, and all of a sudden the wicket started to tumble, but Foley bowling around the wicket to Darren Lehman.
2 for 80, wide on the crease, Lehman defends, out to Silly Point. He's in there, does the fielding.
There's not going to be too much turn here for Foley at this stage. The wicket is very, very well grasped, the pitch. All the way down too. Last week it was a little bit rough around the edges in that popping crease area. Didn't give the bowlers that much assistance. We didn't see anything, any unusual bounce.
Next delivery, again, no shot offered by the left-handed Darren Lehman. He's 32, Fall is 40, it's 2 for 80.
So Foley's just going to try and deceive Lehman with a bit of flight, a bit of change of pace. Re-attacking field on the offside. But Simmons is a short cover, and then we've got a short forward point.
Foley again, bowls to Lehman. Lehman works the ball down towards fine leg. A chase for Jackson. Dixon from slip also chases from slip, and the batsman will get 3.
Should never be 3.
Never been 3 for that, but Dixon getting the ball, looking to have not a very good arm, throwing sidearm in to keep a second. Of course, Jackson, we've already mentioned, not the quickest mover out there.
I don't think Dixon's much quicker, and they might have to look at that area there, that they need someone, if the shot is going to be played in that area. And Foley's conceded, 19, and he's only in his 4th over at the moment.
2 for 83. Foley over the wicket, going now to Fall, and well flighted. Fall tries to push the ball out on the onside. It strikes him on the pad and rolls the short leg.
Marty Fall's done a wonderful job so far, but that 20 minutes or so up until lunch. He just still plays natural game. Don't sort of go back rocking in your shell and sort of saying, well, I've done my job so far. A bit of time to go yet.
Foley again, well flighted. Fall drives up to mid-off. No chance for a run, the end of the over. 3 runs from it. And on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's now 2 for 83.
So at 2 for 83, this partnership for South Australia, the Redbacks, is worth 76. It's the 3rd wicket. And last week when we saw Harity and Brad Young set a record against New South Wales of 10th wicket of 87. And really, they only had to go about another 10 minutes and the way Brad Young was batting, they could have set all-time records because it was a fantastic partnership. And I guess a lot of people will expect Brad Young to do that all the time, but it was just the circumstances on Monday.
Muller bowls to Lehman. He edges through the vacant third slip, reads it down towards the third-man boundary for 4. And the ball will just beat the fielders down there below the scoreboard. So Lehman now 39. It's 2 for 87.
It's 2 for 87. Let's hope nothing happens on that score of 87. But a risky shot then from Darren Lehman. And at this stage, I'd have a third slip in. It was hit perfectly by Lehman. Would have gone down third slip's throat. Around about shin high, and there's only 2 slips in the gully there. Notice the second slip is just coming a little bit wider. Now he's going back to his normal position. Yes, you either have 2 slips or 3, not 1.5.
And the next delivery from Muller is forced out in the onside, fielded by the bowler.
That's what I meant by the 1.5, is that the second was going over to around about a third slip. But just at this stage, I'd be a little bit inclined, the way Muller is still swinging the ball mainly in towards Lehman. And if he gets it up full and length, we know that Lehman likes to drive. Well, he might edge one through that area. But he's on 39, Darren Lehman.
And the next delivery from the bowling of Muller is glanced down a long leg for an easy single. So both Lehman and Paul now on 40, 2 for 88.
Lehman last Monday also in the second innings out for 97. Unusual circumstance. He was struck on the body. The ball went well over the top of his pad and towards the stumps, and he was trying to swat flies and missed, and the ball finished up knocking the bails off, so he was out for 97. So he's continuing that good form today. He's already raced to 40. He looks quite good touch.
And to take you through to lunch, it'll be Barry Curtin.
Thanks, Laurie. The drive on welcome with a magnificent cover drive from Martin Falls into the long boundary for 4. Great shot. And that just changed the scoreboard over there just a moment. Fritzy, I just stepped in and they were 40 each. There were 8 sundries. It was 88. There were 2 noughts and 2 sevens. There was 2 of everything out there, but now Martin Falls changed all that.
Well, we should have taken that for Cross Lotto tomorrow night.
Well,
remember those numbers? 44's got to be 1 and 40.
It was 40, 40, 8, 88, 7, 7, 0, 0.
And
on the
2-2 up there for the bowler.
And 2-2 up there for the bowler as well, so it was everywhere. So Muller again into Fall. This time tries to work it on the onside, just gets him on the pad, goes to the man at short leg. And no run. So Falls 44, Lehman 40. Good partnership between this pair. Excellent partnership after losing the wickets of Johnson and Parker without scoring, both falling when the score was 7. So at one stage 2 for 7, it's now 2 for 92. And Fall is following up from his good form with that 68 in the game against New South Wales.
He could have gone with it though today, Barry. He got a bit tired.
He did.
On Sunday.
So Muller comes in and bowls. Fall defensively, pushes it back along the pitch, fielded by the bowler. He just throws it along the ground. The captain will be pretty happy with that. Back to the keeper. That completes his over. He has the figures of no wickets for 21. And on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's 2 for 92.
110? 110?
This man has just found out how many Sip and Save outlets there are in South Australia.
110? 110?
In fact, Sip and Save is South Australia's largest liquor group.
110?
So wherever you are, from Gawler to Victor and beyond, you can be assured there's a Sip and Save hotel near you.
110?
Sip and Save. Low prices all year round. Sip and Save. Station sponsors of 5RPH.
Yes, and one of those hotels, the Grange Hotel, is bringing you the cricket today. And Foley's continuing from the scoreboard end. Bowls to Darren Lehman, who just pushes forward on the offside defensively. And no run.
It's a lovely little spot down there, isn't it, Barry?
Oh,
Right on the beachfront.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the name, and I'm sure one of our listeners will help out, but the dining area of the Grange is absolutely magnificent. If you're sitting out there, it's just an absolute picture. So Foley in and bowls to Lehman, who goes back and cuts. Can't beat the man at backward point. Castro is fielding down there. And no run.
It's just the one blemish by New South Wales in the field. When Marty Fall was put down at slip. I think that was Dixon, wasn't it? The first slip. He really made a a mess of it, but I think he was, you were on air at the time, and the second flip fieldsman went the other way.
Yeah. Foley around the wicket, bowls to Lehman, who pushes forward. Just defensively, the keeper comes around. Doesn't do the fielding in the end, but he was chasing it out to point. But the man Simmons from short cover comes in and does the fielding. So just the 12 minutes to go before lunch, and this will delight a few of the Redback fans, this partnership. It's important they're both still there at lunch now, though, after doing all the hard work after that early disaster. So Foley coming in past umpire Kinnear, around the wicket, bowls to Lehman, who just pushes forward, calls for a single, sent back by Fall. There's been a few hiccups between this pair in there running between the wickets. Darren Lehman was caught cold once, had the ball hit. He would have been out by an absolute kilometre. On that occasion, he pushed forward, called yes, took off, and Martin Fall sent him back. And doesn't the heart go in the mouth when that happens?
Well, we don't need risky runs at this stage. Runs are okay, but not risky.
So Lehman leans over his bat now and waits for Foley. He bowls. Lehman pushes forward, the ball in the air off the pad, out to cover point. No runs.
Next batsman in is Jamie Simmons. He'll be eager to do well in this game after copping a bit of criticism from many quarters for his perhaps undisciplined shot last week, but that was last week. Let's hope when he comes out today or tomorrow, whenever it is, that he'll play some of his normal attacking cricket.
Once again, Lehman taking on the pad, but the ball ricochets out to cover point. Completes the over from Foley. It was a maiden at 2 for 92, and I agree, Fritzy, that I hope he does, but I'm also quite positive that Jamie could have averted or avoided having all that criticism levelled at him for the shot had he just come out and said that it was not a good shot instead of the good ball and the slower ball, which he you know, he commented in the press. I just think if he said, look, it was a very, very ordinary shot, it won't happen again, then I think it all would have died, because he's a naturally aggressive player, Jamie Simmons, and he will be keen to do well. And as you also quite correctly said, that was last week. So we wait for Muller, bowling from the River Torrens end. In bowls to Fall, up and outside the off stump, moving further away. He allows it to pass through to the keeper.
There's still a fair bit of movement out there. Quite humid.
Good day to bowl, Fritz.
Good day. There's a little bit of grass on the wicket, or a fair bit of grass there, and that's keeping the ball new. And the outfield, of course, is always superb here at the Adelaide Oval. I guess the Queenslanders like bowling in these type of conditions, similar to home, but perhaps not quite as humid as sometimes at the Brisbane Cricket Ground.
So Muller, umpire Shear now, and bowls the Fall outside the off stump again. He allows it to go through. So just bowling a little wide of the off stump at the moment. With that outswing, he's got a bit of outswing going, but he's not pitching it in the right area. The ball should be having a little replay of the ball that picked up Parker. An absolute japper.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
A beauty.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Paul Jackson perhaps have one over from the other end before lunch.
A little surprised to see Foley on before him today, but maybe Hayden will have his reasons for that. Muller, that's a better one, close to the off stump. He still doesn't make the batsman play a shot. It goes through once again to Wayne Steckham.
Quite a few people around the place believe that Foley's got a chance to make the touring party to England as a player. Well, if I said just touring party, you'd probably say as baggage man or something, but I think he's got a bit of promise there. Certainly conditions here at the moment not suiting his off spin. He's not turning the ball at this stage, but as the game wears on, he will too.
Well, bowls, and this time Paul gets it away, backward of point. He should pick up 3 here. Darren Lehman's very quick between the wickets. A good judge of a run, and he'll make it back quite comfortably. So 3 more to Fall. That ball just on off stump, moving further away. And he hit it just backward of point. Good shot. Picked up 3. So 47. He was there when the 2 wickets fell this morning out of Johnson and Parker. And he would have been thinking, oh no, here we go again. But always really steady here. Both this pair, Lehman and Fall, and added 88 runs. Very, very valuable runs. So as well as having the partnership there, Fritzy, after that disaster, they still managed to score at quite a good rate coming up to lunch.
Yes, good, you know, 100 on the board at lunch. Just the 2 would look a lot better.
Another bowls to Lehman. Lehman hit that in the air for some time. It only just landed short of the fieldsman, placed it backward square. So he's there for that shot. And Lehman just taking that one off the hip, hit it in the air. One bounce to the fieldsman. Not all that short of him at all.
Unusual field placing, that, isn't it?
It is an unusual field placing. He needs to be probably 10 metres closer to the bat. Yeah, but that ball there would have gone right down his throat had he been in front of the umpire, but he's just behind the umpire, or when he gets in, Lehman drives on this occasion, square of the wicket. That'll go all the way for 4. No problems at all about that one. Outside the off stump, and Lehman just helping it on its way backward a point. That's through to the sideboard for Darren Lehman, and into the fence for 4. That completes the over from Muller. He has no wicket for 24. The Home Mortgage Services scoreboard reads the Redbacks for 2 for 99.
Yeah, good-looking shot then from Darren Lehman. Just placed that one along the ground all the way, and just backward to point, and absolutely sped away to that boundary where they're doing a fair bit of work there out on the in front of the Victor Richardson gates. I guess they'll be wanting to complete that work before the Test match actually starts. So.
Yes, that's the reason why they would have started it a day before a Shield match.
We're working right through there this afternoon. So.
Well, we'll keep our eye on them, make sure they do.
99 on the board.
Foley continuing from the scoreboard end. He's going to be bowling the right-handed Fall. Fall is 47. And Lehman is 44. This time Fall pushes forward. Turns it square on the onside. Just past the man in at bat pad. Still fairly attacking field set. He's got a slip. He's got a backward pointer cover, a mid-off, a mid-on. A man in at bat pad. Then we've got a man straighter and a straightish mid-wicket and a mid-on. And a man in front of square about 30 metres from the bat and a backward square leg. So he bowls. Fall sweeps and sweeps fine. A good shot by Martin Fall. He'll pick up 3 here. Darren Lehman is the man going to the danger end, but he'll make it quite comfortably. Muller's doing the fielding down here in front of the 5 RPH commentary box. But that brings up a very good 50 for Martin Fall. A good sweep shot and a good 50 under pressure as well. So a healthy round of applause for the Tea-Tree Gully opener. 114 minutes he's been at the crease, placed 90 balls, and has hit 3 boundaries. And that is his 6th first-class 50. So well done to Martin Fall. As I say, he made these runs today under pressure after losing Johnson and Parker in successive deliveries when the score was 7. So he's 50, Lehman is 44, and the Redback 100 comes up as well, 2 for 102. Foley, round the wicket, bowls to Lehman. Lehman just thrusts the pad out, allows it to go to the backward point, but no run. A very good half-century, Chrissy, from Martin Fall.
Yes, that's a very good performance from him. As we said, he was dropped at 10. He stuck to his task pretty well, and I think someone like Darren Lehman at the other end has steadied him. And he's played very well this morning.
Foley to Lehman. Lehman forward. Takes it on the pad once again. Foley coming around the wicket. Lehman just practicing the sweep shot, but I don't think he'll pull it out before lunch. There's only some 4 minutes remaining before the luncheon interval here on day 1 of the Shield game, South Australia versus Queensland. Top versus bottom. And Foley around the wicket and bowls to Lehman. Lehman goes back and cuts. Can't beat the man. Backward point. Muller once again does the fielding. Yes, and if you had said you just joined us or just returned from overseas and we said that it was top versus bottom, then you would think it may be the other way rather than the way it is on the ladder, given that the Redbacks are the reigning Shield champions. Foley coming in around the wicket and bowling Darren Lehman. This one well flighted. Lehman drives. Can't beat Simon. Simon's just knocked it down with one hand. It would have been 4. But they only get 1. So a good piece of work from Michael Simons. That completes Foley's over. He has a figure of no wicket for 23. The Home Mortgage Services scoreboard reads 2 for 103.
Yes, just one over to be bowled now before the luncheon interval. Will we see Jackson come into the attack? We predicted a couple of overs ago, and yes, he's now giving his cap to umpire Bill Shee, and he's going to bowl from the River Torrens end, and we're going to be directly behind him. Pitch for this game, just 2 in from the eastern boundary, and we're directly behind the
spot, isn't it, really? We're to be calling the game from.
Could have been 3 inches over further, but now 2 for 103, and this has been a very good recovery by South Australia. This partnership now worth 96. But, well, 2 or 3 minutes to go. Everything's got to still stay South Australia's way. I think the scales at this stage have tilted back in favour of South Australia. When they were 2 for 7, everything was there. It was just all Queensland. Now, Jackson, slow left-arm orthodox from the river end, and he'll be bowling to Darren Lehman.
Bowling left arm over the wicket from the River Torrens end. Bowls. Lehman just attempts well, I'm not sure what Darren Lehman was trying to do there. Just a little dabble around the corner for a ball that was pitched pretty well on the stump. And that's not the sort of shot you need, your gun player. Well, it was full toss, really.
Just may have been outside the line of the off stump. Otherwise, it had to be out.
And Jackson bowls. This time Lehman defensively just pushes it back along the pitch.
That would have been a
Hearts in the mouth,
blow, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Paul Jackson has 165 wickets for his first-class career, or Sheffield Shield career. Best bowling of 6 for 55. Bowls to Darren Lehman, who drives mid-on. Can't beat the fieldsman there. Muller. Jackson bowling with the sunglasses on. Waiting for Darren Lehman, who remarks his crease. 165 wickets of 38 for Paul Jackson. Bowls. Lehman drives. Time fielded pretty quickly by Simmons, coming in from mid-wicket to prevent any chance of a run. So Lehman will be quite happy to play up this over. And Keith Martin's fall in at the other end. Lehman being the more experienced of the two. So Jackson left arm over the wicket. Bowls to Lehman. Outside the off stump, a quicker one. Lehman just allows it to go through. That was the arm ball going away from the left-hander. And Lehman just allowed it to go through to second. So a slip, a real silly point in as well on the offside. Lehman is making absolutely certain that this is going to be the last over before lunch. He's down doing some guarding. He's ready now. Waits for Jackson. He bowls. Lehman just goes back defensively, puts it square on the onside, and he walks straight towards the pavilion as umpire Sheehan says, that's lunch, everybody, at the Adelaide Oval. A pretty interesting morning.
Bowls on the pad this time. And Simmons should get a leg by here. Ball rolling behind the square leg umpire. By Sheehan. Signals leg by. It's under his 9. 3 for 111.
And I'm glad I haven't got TJ sitting here beside me because he'd be straight down me there. But what I mean, you can clarify that by just saying that Jamie Simmons is the type of player he is. He's not going to change for anyone. Perhaps he did play a couple of unders with some shots, but I think we've all played those in our time. It did look bad because of the position he was in, but hey, that's the way it goes, and I hope the little fellow, and so does everyone, goes on and makes a good score for the Redbacks in this game.
Castro bowls to Lehman, and this delivery Lehman allows to pass through. It was close to the body. It's good judgment shown by the left-hander. It was allowed to pass through to second.
It'll be very interesting to see what would have been said in the event that South Australia had won 4 out of 4 and the same shots that have been played. It wouldn't have been highlighted as much, but there's always something that people have got to grab at, don't they? I guess it makes good reading.
Kasparitz bowls. Lehman forward defensively up towards mid-off. Ball is there, and I won't get a run.
Now it's a perfect opportunity now, Loz. I can see your feet are off the ground at 3 for 111. It's a perfect opportunity now for someone like Vaughan to come in. Obviously, they'd want to see a partnership from these guys, but if they can get them to put another 100 on the board or something, it sets it up for someone like Vaughan to come in, and I've seen a fair bit of him of late in the net.
Kasparitz, Lehman, shoulders, arms through to the keeper.
And he's a player that has got a lot of time. He plays very upright, hits through the line of the ball, and I'd like to see him come out here with a good score on the board, let's say, for argument's sake, 4 for 250 or more, and give the young fellow a chance to play himself in, because he's an exciting player, and South Australia would really enjoy sitting down watching that sort of player bat. And on the other hand, too, someone like Tim Nielsen, who needs a good single at the wicket. Tim puts a lot of emphasis on every part of his cricket, and he has a very proud sort of a person. I know he's been very disappointed with the innings he's had of the last month or so, and there's another one that I'd love to see get out there and have a good time at the crease.
Dale bowls. Siddons inside edge under the thigh, rolls out in the offside. Nielsen, far too good a player to be averaging only high 20s in first-class cricket, because he dominates district cricket. I think one season, not so long ago, he averaged 90. Now, he's got a lot of good strokes, good defence, and he's a man that is more than capable of, averaging in the mid to high 30s for the Redbacks as Dale bowls. Siddons allows his ball to pass through to the keeper.
Yeah, you're right there, Laurie, and as Terry Janet said, there is a big step, but we know the capabilities of Tim Nielsen. Last year I was fortunate enough to see a 100 for him at the MCG in a day-night game against the Vicks, and it was just a magnificent innings, and we know what he's capable of doing. Tim knows what he's capable of doing, and so do the opposition when we talk about respect. When Tim Nielsen comes out to the wicket, they don't say, "Oh, just hang around for a couple of balls, we'll get this guy out." They know that he's one vital player they've got to remove from the South Australian team.
Dale bowls. Siddons forward defensively, and fielded by the bowler in his follow-through.
And last year it was talked about a lot about the top order, the top six, how they're such good batsmen. And then everyone used to say, but then again, if Tim Nielsen wasn't wicket-keeping, he's a capable enough batsman to play in the team as a batsman.
When he first came into the side, it was said that he's good enough to play as a batsman. So, in his first year, he averaged mid-30s. So, good figures. Dale wide on the crease this time. Siddons allows the ball to pass through to the keeper.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Tim, he's magnificent in one-day games, especially too. Just the way he runs between wickets, and he always goes out and gets you quick runs. And I mean, I can go along talking about one of these players. And Tim Nielsen, especially, is one player that his wicket-keeping is magnificent at the moment. I just love to see him make a couple of big scores.
Dale bowl. And Siddons off the hip, works the ball forward of square leg, a chase for Barsby, and the batsman will come through for an easy 2. So Siddons now on to 6. It's 3 for 113.
And the next hour is going to be of vital importance to both sides, really, but especially to South Australia. We see these two still at the crease, and I can assure you, anyone out there that's thinking about coming down for the last session, if you've got Simmons and Lehman at the crease, has been batting for most of this session, or will be all of it, because Nightfall got out in the first over, it would be well worth your while coming down and having a look at these two go.
Dale bowls. Siddons allows the ball to pass through to the keeper. 2 runs from the over, and at the end of it, on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's 3 for 113.
If you like the sun on your face and the wind in your hair, you'll love Kingston Estates award-winning Chardonnay. If you like knowing your footy team's annihilating the competition, you'll love Kingston Estates Shiraz. If you like hearing your numbers come up in the weekly cross lotto, you'll love Kingston Estates Semillon Sauvignon Blanc. And if you like a good meal, good friends and great wine, you'll love Kingston Estates Cabernet Sauvignon. Kingston Estate, fine wines, good times. Look for them today in your favourite liquor outlet. Supporting 5RPH.
3 for 113. Castro bowls to Lehman. He works the ball off his hip to backward square leg. Barsby is the fielder, and there's no run. So the lunch score down here was 2 for 103. And since lunch ball was out, caught behind by second off the bowling of Dale for 50. And it's now 3 for 113.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Laurie, and I'm sure you will, but obviously with the ball swinging around, that is the first short-ish ball we've seen that came up around under the rib cage of Darren Weber for 35 overs.
Castro bowls to Lehman. Lehman forward defensively. I'd have to agree with that. I don't think there's been one bumper, high bumper all morning.
I would never think there was one fractionally over hip height.
Yeah, I don't think there's been one. That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, it is, but the way the ball's been swinging around with this little bit of humidity.
Makes sense.
It does make sense, but I just think now and then you can vary a little bit, but I suppose they've been getting the wickets. But when Marty Fall and Darren Lehman were going there for a while, I thought that they may have varied a little bit with a short one around the bonds.
Castro bowls. Lehman defends. Back up the onside. Fielded by the bowler in his follow-through.
Thanks for just adjusting it, Murray.
3 for 113. Lehman 48. Siddons 6. Castro 2 slips and a gully, extra cover, shortish cover, mid-off, wide mid-on, backward square leg, and a deep fine leg. And he bowls to Lehman, and again Lehman allows this ball to pass through to wicketkeeper Second.
And Second just applauding that ball from Mike Kasprowitz. It's angled in, started outside off stump, angled in, and it passed about 3 or 4 inches outside off stump and straightened right up. And it was a good ball from Mike Kasprowitz, but equally well left from Darren Weber.
Queensland bowlers putting in a good spell after lunch. And the next delivery from Kasprowitz wide on the crease. Lehman drives through the offside field. Should be his 50. The batsmen have run one, coming back to the second. Muller chasing, and they've come back for 3. So Lehman brings up a half century, and there might be an overthrow here for him too. A wayward return from Muller, and the ball goes down the long leg. So they end up getting 4. So Lehman through to a half century. He's 52. 3 for 117.
And warmly applauded by the crowd we've got here, and rightly so. He came out facing a hat-trick and worked the first ball backward of square for 2. And he's gone on to get to 52 now.
128 minutes, 98 deliveries, and 5 fours. His 38th first-class half-century. Delivery from Michael Kasprowitz to Lehman, and he defends off the back foot, and the ball goes up to mid-off. That's the end of the over. Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. It's now 3 for 117. Lehman 52, Siddons on 6.
Well, he's batted to his average again, as Eric Freeman was saying earlier, averaging 51. But I just think, and well, I know that for Darren Lehman, this just means nothing for him. That's just one step that he's got over. Is to get a start, then to get to 50, but it just really, it doesn't mean anything to him until he goes on and registers triple figures and gets that 100, and then he knows he's done his job for the team, or he's started to do his job for the team. Then he'll assess where they're situated and hopefully try and register a big 100 so the Redbacks can register a good score.
Dale wide on the crease, bowls to Siddons. Siddons on drive. No run. Should have on Muller.
Whenever you see Darren Lehman get to, let's say, a 50 or 100, there's always a spate of, I would say, 30 runs where he just blazes the 30 runs. It's just all of a sudden you look up and say, oh, Wolf Lehman, 52. And you just think within half an hour you look up and he's 80.
Next delivery from Dale. Siddons, very watchful, allows the ball to pass through to wicketkeeper Second.
I guess it's one way of describing it, but he's very elegant, isn't he? He's graceful as a batsman, Darren Lehman. If that's a word you could use as a batsman. A lot of people go after him, bang, bang, but he just looks so graceful. And I can assure you he looks like that when he swims too, Loz.
When he swims. Dale, Siddons forward defensively, bat and pad close together. Ball rolls back pitch to the bowler. Fields in his bowler through. So Kasprowitz 2 for 39, Dale 1 for 24 are the wicket takers. Muller none for 28, Foley none for 23, and Jackson just the one over before lunch. Maiden.
Most players, when they make big hundreds and whatnot, you look at them and you remember the big flashy shots and the big sky balls that they hit over the top. Just wait for this ball from Dale.
Siddons forward again defensively, back up towards cover. Fielded by Simmons.
And you remember all those big shots and the batsman plays, but with Darren Lehman, it's just different. He's just a cruise one so quickly without you really noticing. He works the ball to gaps all the time. A lot of guys will play big shots and hit straight to the field, but you find with Darren Lehman, he doesn't normally hit 2 or 3 balls straight to the field. Maybe 50% of the balls he strikes do, but generally not.
So again, Siddons off the back foot, forces up to Simmons, shooting at that shortish cover position.
So he scores a lot of runs without actually playing big flashy drives and hook shots where he doesn't really hook and pull as much, but he just works the ball. He cuts very well and he cover drives very well, and that's the way Darren Lehman accrues his runs, and very quickly too.
Cricket in this session brought to you by All Purpose Travel. Dale, Siddons, forward again, defensive, back up the wicket. So the end of a maiden over from Adam Dale on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. It's 3 for 117.
Build 'em up with Buttercup with Farah's Gold and Molenbeek during their $500,000 promotion. Look for your tokens in Farah's Gold and Molenbeek for cash prizes during our $500,000 giveaway until the 24th of December. Too good to miss. Buttercup's cash promotion. Buy your Farah's Gold and Molenbeek and win cash prizes now. Build 'em up with Buttercup. Sponsors of 5RPH.
3 for 117. Adjustments being made out on the ground to footwear of Michael Castro. Is it strict tightening or the light out in the centre?
Something that would interest the listeners and the sports fans of South Australian cricket was that Darren Weber came to training on Thursday night or Wednesday night, the first time since having his knees done. He joined in squad training and hit the ball very well, and I'm actually playing against him tomorrow. They'll be having a bat. I was just thinking before about the Queenslanders and how happy they would be to see that Darren Weber's not in the team, unfortunately, because of the injuries, but he has a good record against Queensland. He's made 300 or 400 against them.
Castro bowls to Lehman. Lehman forward defensively out on the offside.
Yeah, it's good for South Australian cricket, and it's very, I guess, in the situation that we've been in the last couple of games, it's very warming for the other players around too, to see someone like Darren Weber be able to come down to training and start to join in a little bit. And, I guess you could say he's sorely missed, but that gives other guys opportunities, and Webb sort of struggled a bit last year, but the quality of player he is, it would be good to have him back in the team in form.
Castwich bowls again to Lehman. Now Yorker dug out up towards the mid-off area, fielded there by Andrew Simons.
Yes, and Simons, I mentioned before, I noticed when he was trotting, he seemed to be limping a little bit. Then it was brought to my attention that this morning's paper, he suffered a bruised knee yesterday, and that's probably the reason why he is limping, but I hadn't read the paper at the time.
3 for 117. Kasparov bowls for Lehman. Strikes on the pad, appeal for LBW. With the fraction high, Lehman's rubbing the upper thigh. Very confident appeal, ruled not out by umpire Bill Sheen.
Now, there's something that makes me giggle a little bit there, because
Top of the pad.
Darren Lehman has suffered a bruise which is in between the thigh pad and the pad. And it's unfortunate that I'm sitting here talking about it because I'm the cause of it. I've hit him twice in the last couple of weeks in the same spot, and he's got a great little tender spot there. I suppose he'd be cursing me now that Castro's hitting there.
Next ball, Lehman forces to the mid-wicket area. Jackson misfields, and they get through for a single. So Lehman 53, now 3 for 118.
Yes, twice last week I happened to hit him there with balls that swung, so I was pretty happy that they swung, but they hit Big Buff in the wrong spot, and I didn't mean to do it, but Michael Castro bowled the same sort of ball that swung into the pads, and I think it's only just clipped the pad and hit the fleshy spot of Darren Lehman's leg, and I'm sure he's got a good bruise to verify that, and I'm sorry about that, Buff.
So Siddons now in strike. He's on 6, facing Castro, and forward comes the Redback skipper. Inside edge out towards the mid-wicket, fielded there by Trevor Barsi.
Yeah, Jamie Siddons, now the score is 3 for 118. He came in when the score was 3 for 103, the dismissal of Martin Fall, and he knows how important this innings is, because we don't want to see the Redbacks fall to 4 for 120. On the other hand, if this little fella can hang around for a while with Darren Lehman, you could see runs plenty coming.
Castro with 2 for 40, bowls to Siddons outside the off stump, allowed to pass through to the wicketkeeper. The conclusion of Castro's 12th over, and on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it's 3 for 118. Lehman 53, Siddons on 6.
Yeah, Jamie Siddons on that occasion, I'm sure all the senior players have got together and said, let's let a lot of balls go, but he's only on 6 and he's not going to play across the line, but same as we said about Darren Lehman before, I'm sure that in a few overs' time Laurie, you'd see Jamie Siddons step back and just crack that one through points and four, because it was a wide ball, it was short, and it was there to cut, but Jamie is very intent on playing himself in today and taking a lot of the responsibility for this red-back innings.
Cricket in this session brought to you by All Purpose Travel, as Adam Dale, close to the stump, bowls to Lehman, and he shoulders arm. The ball is moved away from him and through to the keeper.
Yeah, 3 wickets down. It's unfortunate for Johnson, Parker and Fall to be out, but a lot of people come to the cricket to see these two bat, don't they? They just really come. I mean, what the other guys do is magnificent, but people pay their money to watch the likes of Darren Lehman and Jamie Siddons in full flight, and let's hope that they get that today.
3 for 118. Hot off his play as Matthew Hayden just makes an adjustment to his mid-off, pushing him a few metres wider. Dale with the shirt trailing behind him. Bowls to Lehman, and outside the off stump again, Lehman. Again, shoulders, arms through to the keeper.
And Adam Dale once again kicking the stump. It's something that doesn't go unnoticed with cricket followers and that. And you mentioned Adam Dale's shirt blowing behind him, but it really isn't a good sight, is it, to see someone running with their shirt out?
He's in again. The northern end bowls to Lehman outside the off stump again. Having a little bit of trouble with his line at the moment. A little bit wide in this over. And again, through to keep a second.
But then again, if it's any indication of the shirts that we've got this year for Locke Wilson and myself, can't help but fall out when you're running into bowls. A little bit short, but perhaps that's the way that makes him feel a little bit comfortable. I know it's tucked in the front, but just dangling a bit at the back. New trend. Shane Warne's introduced that, hasn't he?
Dale wide on the crease this time. Bowls to Lehman, who drives up to mid-off. Filtered there by Moore.
Yeah, just varying a little bit, bowling across Darren Lehman, using his crease a little bit, but I see there on that occasion he tried the slower ball, but if there's any bloke that's got eyes like a hawk, it's Darren Lehman, and he picks them up pretty early. Yeah, I think he's rolled it over the back. So well played by Darren Lehman.
Setting himself for a big inning. He's 53 as Dale bowls. Lehman drives. Can't beat Simmons at cover. Beautiful stop. Diving to his right. Well fielded by exciting Andrew Simmons. Very good to watch in the field.
Yeah, I was just looking for, on our TV monitor here that we're fortunate enough to have, as we say each week, because of Laurie Colliver, but seeing if there's any grimaces with that bruised knee he has, and doesn't seem to be any sign there.
Dale again on the northern end. Past the umpire Kinnear. Bowls to Lehman. Lehman drives. Beats the cover field this time out towards the members' stand boundary. Maher is chasing. The ball should just beat him into the fence. It does by about 2 or 3 metres. So 4 runs to Lehman. 4 runs off the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. It's 3 for 122.
110? 110?
This man has just found out how many Sip and Save outlets there are in South Australia.
110? 110?
In fact, Sip and Save is South Australia's largest liquor group.
110?
So wherever you are, from Gawler to Victor and beyond, you can be assured there's a Sip and Save hotel near you.
110?
Sip and Save. Low prices all year round. Sip and Save. Station sponsors of 5RPH.
3 for 122. And a change in the commentary. It'll be our cricket show
Co-host
panelist. Daryl's got to take up the commentary.
as Castro comes in out of bowl to Siddons, who plays forward and just out to mid-off there. It's a no ball. And another addition to the score here. It's 3 for 124, and Brad's certainly a very good recovery after being 2 for 7.
No doubt about it. And very well called then, Scotty, for your first one. I enjoyed that. You must listen to a little bit of commentary, listen to our Laurie Colliver. But yeah, it has been a good recovery, and unfortunate to see the wicket of Martin fall, but as I said before, people love to come and watch these two bat.
As Kasparik's in once again past the umpire, forward is Siddons. Bat and pad very close together. In fact, I think that may have even collected the pad first, and just the ball drifts out, I guess, to mid-off.
Jamie Siddons will be looking to get through these guys here, these guys meaning the medium-paced bowlers, and get to the spinners, because there is no better player of spin than Jamie Siddons when he's on go. The retirement of James Brayshaw, who was another good player of spin, but Jamie Siddons was equal to that.
Kasparich once more. Forward goes Siddons, drives that into the covers, where it's picked up by Simmons once more.
Bit full, that one there. Jamie, I think, stumbled on his front foot a little bit, didn't quite get his foot out to it, and he stopped his shot a little bit and just pushed it. As we can see, he wasn't quite to it. His feet were on the crease a little bit. But just pushed it to a cover, didn't go through with a shot.
Certainly a confidence thing, and Jamie's confidence at the moment would be a bit down, no doubt. And I'm sure if he can back for a while here, we'll see that going through the covers rather than to the cover fields. And as Kasparich once more drifts towards leg stump, and Siddons just plays it nice and quietly to mid-wicket, where Barsby runs across, picks up the ball and returns it to the bowler.
Yeah, we were only just talking about that before, about Jamie. But I think from the other couple of games we've seen, Jamie's come out today and his feet are moving very well. He knows where his off stump is, he knows which balls to let go, and he's on the ball today. And let's hope the little fella, as I said, 10 times over, and go on.
Certainly South Australia keen for him to get runs as Kasparich once more. Siddons plays and misses as a big appeal. Well, he's given not out. Looked very confident from behind the wicket. Beat the outside edge of the bat. Siddons didn't look particularly concerned. Fortunately for South Australia, the umpire kept his finger down as we have a look in the replay, and certainly appeared to comfortably miss it, Brad.
Yeah, he did. It was interesting. He banged his bat on the ground after he did it, and sometimes he's missed that by a long way, hasn't he? It was a great ball. I'd say his bat flicked his pad, but there was a bit of a grin on Jamie Siddons' face. He said, well bowled, but I didn't hit that, mate.
Certainly a very strong appeal from behind the wicket, though, and it certainly must have put a bit of pressure on the umpire as Kasparich comes in once again. It's the umpire now bowls. Same sort of delivery, and this time Siddons lets it pass through to the keeper.
Yeah, just a little bit wider, but the reason that these umpires get opportunities like this is because they can handle pressure. If any bloke's going to be smart at appeals and whatnot, you're going to find them at this level here, because it's all dog eat dog, and the umpire gives it as they see it, and on that occasion it was correct like they normally are, and he missed that by a long way, but it's certainly a good ball from Michael Kasparich.
Yeah, the Queenslanders certainly trying to put the pressure on the South Australians, and at 3 for 124, Kasparich once again. Same sort of delivery, same outswing action, going towards the slip, but this time Siddons plays it down to Simmons at short cover. And at the end of the over, it's 3 for 124.
Yeah, well played by Jamie then. He caught one very good ball from Mike Kasparich, but the rest of them he covered very well, and we see Adam Dale is going to continue from the cathedral end to bowl to Darren Weber, who is on 57, and the score is 3 for 124.
And this session here today between 1 and 3:40 is sponsored by All Purpose Travel, and we thank them for their support as Dale once again comes in to bowl to Lehman. Plays that beautifully down towards mid-on. It's just leant on the bat and pushed it down towards mid-on. They're going to get at least 2. They're going to come back to the third. If Siddons was really rushing, he may have thought about 4, but they settle for 3 as the throw comes back in via another fielder to the bowler, and that's 3 more to Lehman as he moves along to 60. Siddons is on 6, and on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it is 3 for 127.
Yes, we just mentioned before, Scotty, before you were here, that Darren Lehman, the best part about him is he makes the bowlers bowl to him. He's not trying to play any rash shots or any shots. He's letting a lot of balls go. He's just playing himself in.
He's certainly looking very good, Nick, as Dale this time to Siddons. Siddons forward, and he looks very, very correct today. He appears to be a man on a mission, I think, and certainly he's copped a bit of flack from the press and the media of recent times, and I'm sure he appears to be trying to put that behind him and prove to the critics that he is the quality player that he's shown for so many years.
I think the Queenslanders have bowled very well to James Siddons so far too. They haven't given him anything to drive or anything to pull at the moment, and they're just bowling that little nagging line on and off, outside off stump, and Jamie's just treating them with the respect that they deserve.
They're a very good side, Queensland. That's why they're sitting on top of the table, and they certainly won't be trying to give South Australia an easy time. They'll be putting as much pressure on as they can. As Dale once again comes in, bowling to Siddons. Siddons once again forward defensively, just pushing it down towards mid-off, where Jackson picks up the ball.
Yeah, well fielded by Jackson there. He's come under a little bit of harsh treatment from some of the co-commentators sometimes, but Jacko's a great man for cricket. He's been around for a long time, and I actually did see him drop one of the easiest catches in the world in Brisbane one day, where Darren Weber went on and made 170, or Darren Weber, I think it was.
Siddons facing once again. Dale in. Siddons short, and Siddons allows it to pass through to the keeper with no shot being offered.
But yeah, Action Jackson, as he's known, has been around cricket for a long time. 69 matches, I think, 165 wickets. Only ever got one 5-wicket haul, but he's got a huge amount of respect from his peers and other players around him, because he's always there and does a job for you.
Paul Jackson, originally from Victoria, migrated to Queensland some seasons ago now, and has been a very good acquisition for Queensland. As Dale once again comes into Siddons. Siddons allows that to pass through to the keeper once again. And I mean, I've only been looking for a few overs now, and I don't think I've seen Jamie Siddons let quite so many balls pass consistently as he has today already.
Well, as I said, they've bowled very well to him, but I think that's good, because if the ball's not up and Jamie's not going after, it's just giving him a chance to play himself in, and it's bowling into Jamie Siddons' hands, and this is the way he plays.
Very important for South Australia that Siddons gets some runs in this innings. As Dale once again. Siddons digs that out as it's Yorker length, pushes it out towards cover once again, and Simons picks up the ball. As we see at the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, South Australia 3 for 127, with Lehman on 60 and Siddons on 6.
Fisher & Paykel is innovative. For all refrigerators, washing machines, clothes dryers, dishwashers, cooking appliances and white goods. Fisher & Paykel sponsoring 5RPH.
And welcome back to the Adelaide Oval, as South Australia have got to 3 for 127. The batsman out today, Johnson for naught. Parker to an absolute gem for naught, and Marty Paul for 50. As we welcome to the commentary box once again, Eric Freeman.
Yes, good afternoon, Darryl, and to all of our listeners. Unfortunate blow there for South Australia with Paul going down. Just when he looks settled again, and, you know, there's a lot of batsmen, perhaps, you know, not the real well-known ones like the Lehmans and Siddons, that they normally go on with it, and the Brayshaw, they go on and get their 100 or 150, but we're just finding Marty again crashing, you know, when he's got a half-century. These two have got to go on with it today.
Castro in again. Bowls to Lehman down the leg side. Lehman tries to flick it away down the leg side, but unfortunately can't make contact. And someone's just hit me out of my seat.
Yes, you've got to move up one. But it was a good performance by Marty Fall. He was there when a couple of wickets fell, and I mean, he was dropped himself at 10. It would have been, what, 3 for 20 at that stage if the catch had been taken. He fought back, showed a bit of grit out there, gone to lunch at 50, and then all of a sudden, straight after lunch, he's out.
Kasparek to Lehman, wide of the off stump, and Lehman once again allowing it to pass through to the keeper. And I haven't seen, as I mentioned before, Eric, I haven't seen quite so many balls let go as we have already since lunch, certainly by these two batters.
Yeah, well, they've kept the scoring rate going, but they're making the bowlers now bowl to the batsman. I'm sure that Kasparek's bowls that well to left-handers. Hasn't bowled as well to Lehman today as I'd have expected from a test-class bowler.
I don't think there's too many bowlers that do bowl well to Lehman, as once again Kasparek bowls to Lehman. He just allows it to run off the bat down the fine leg, where the fielder down there, Dale, picks it up and returns it to the keeper. One more to the score as Lehman goes along to 61. Siddons is 6, and the total is 3 for 128.
Well, still fair bit of movement out there from Kasparek. He's got a nice run to the wicket, nice high approach in his delivery stride. But for the left-hander, he's bowled a lot of middle and leg to Darren Lehman. Now, whether that's a ploy, because they've had that fieldsman backward of square around about 25 metres away, looking for that glance off the hip.
Siddons on the strike once again. He's managed to get that between cover and point. He squeezed it out. They were looking for a second. Just the one there. As the return comes in from Jimmy Maher. Another additional run to the score. Siddons moves along to 7. 3 for 129. And both of these batters look very, very comfortable at the moment, Eric.
That's good. I said that at lunchtime. I was talking to David Johnson. I said, look, Marty Fall getting 68 the other day. He looked tired today. He struggled. He got through that drop catch. He's on 50. Let's hope that he can keep going. And very next delivery he was out. But I must say that Jamie Siddons' approach today
has looked very good. Casperix again this time to Lehman as he drifts the ball almost. It's rather than late swing, it looks to have gone fairly early. Back in towards Lehman, in towards the pads, and he's just played it out towards mid-off.
Next session of play today coming from All-Purpose Travel. All-Purpose Travel at 11A Wakeham Street in Adelaide. The All-Purpose Travel are looking after the Eric Freeman and Terry Jenner's Defence of the Ashes tour in June and July. We'll talk a little bit about that this afternoon.
Castro yet again into Lehman. He plays it a bit awkwardly. He seems to square up a bit there. But Castro certainly getting some swing. At the end of the over, it is 3 for 129, with Lehman on 61 and Simmons on 7, brought to you on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard.
Yes, at 3 for 129. The partnership, as you said, they're both playing well at the moment. It's worth 26. Jamie Simmons has let a lot of deliveries go that have been wide. But I'd hate him to see him play his unnatural game. He's got to hit the ball if it's there. You're the same. If the ball's there and it's outside the off stump, you hit it. But, I mean, he chased that one the other day, which was very wide. And, I mean, everybody knows, including Jamie Simmons, that he shouldn't have played the shot, and it was at a crucial time. But, when he's going, he looks really good. And he's got to give support now to Lehman. Lehman has to go on and make a big 100. He's got to get 150 today, and South Australia, up in that 380, 400 range, and really put some pressure on the strong Queensland batting lineup, because they do have a talented lineup, particularly the openers. Barsby and also Hayden have given South Australia problems over the years. And then you've got Jimmy Maher coming down the list, and Andrew Simons, who I think is just starting to, control his innings rather than getting out, going for the big hoik all the time. But that's to be determined in this game.
Well, Simmons certainly has his opportunity now, I think, with changing the bowling and Jackson coming on. So he's got the spinner. Jackson over the wicket to Lehman, and straight away Lehman looking to drive. Doesn't quite get it, as it is stroked out towards cover point, and no run.
Yes, he'll be looking to get on that front foot and drive through that area. If he can beat the short cover, it'll go through for 4. He's got to be careful he doesn't hit it in the air.
Certainly he'll be looking for that cover drive. He plays it so well when he's in. As Jackson once again, this time Simmons is forward, just pushing it out to the short player at cover. And Eric, I'm sure that Simmons will be looking forward to this contest with Paul Jackson.
Yes, he loves the spinners. Doesn't mind, just getting that 1 or 2 steps down and driving through the offside. But whether he gives him too many to hit in that area.
Jackson once again, Simmons yet again forward defensively, pushing it out to short gully, I guess you would call that, and no run once again.
Yes, it's unusual. He's still got the bat pad in for Jackson. Just a flip in the short cover.
Jackson once again comes in, left arm over the wicket. Simmons is back that time, striking it to short cover, where misfield there by Matthew Hayden. But no run is scored, and Hayden will be looking at this track pretty intently. I'm sure he'd be keen to, when it's his turn to bat, to get some runs.
Yes, it's a very good batting wicket at the moment.
It certainly appears that way. As Jackson once again, Simmons forward, striking, just trying to pick up the line of Jackson, pushes that out towards point, and once again, no trouble to the scorer.
Jackson's been around the scenes for some time, averaging something like 38 for each wicket.
Left arm orthodox is Jackson as he comes in yet again. Simmons allows that to hit his pad outside the line of leg stump, and that's the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, with South Australia 3 for 129. Lehman is on 61 and Simmons is on 7.
This cricket broadcast is brought to you by the Anti-Cancer Foundation. Remember, slip, slop and slap, supporting 5RPH.
Yeah, 3 for 129 at the Adelaide Oval. South Australia winning the toss today. Johnson out for no score. And we saw Parker out very next ball, also for naught. It was 2 for 7. And Paul immediately after lunch for 50. It was 3 for 103. As we've mentioned, this afternoon session being brought to you by All-Purpose Travel. All-Purpose Travel providing the vehicle, I suppose, for TJ and myself to take this Defence of the Ashes tour to England in June and July. You'd like to be on that one, Scotty?
I'd love to be on that one, Eric.
June the 12th we leave, and we'll mention a little bit about the itinerary during this over.
Castro's now around the wicket for Lehman this time, and he's pushing it back in towards the bowler's pad. Lehman can't beat the fielder at mid-on, where Jackson dives across, and we've talked about Jackson's fielding previously, and he did that actually pretty well, Eric.
Yes, well, when he's chasing the ball down to the boundary, it's either 3 or 4, or they could have even run a 5 there today. He didn't chase all that quickly, the legs going up and down in the one spot. So no doubt he's in there for his bowling. He's sent down a couple of overs already, and the batsman have failed to score.
Yes, we've seen the two spinners operate already, Foley and Jackson. Castro again to Lehman, down the leg side, well down leg side. Lehman upset with himself not getting bat onto that, and goes through to the keeper's second.
As I mentioned, that the TJ Eric Freeman tours leave Adelaide on Thursday the 12th of June. We fly on Malaysian Airlines, and when we get there, we've got a London sightseeing tour. I think the second day we're off to Ascot races. We've got a coach tour down there, and we're going to have an Aussie barbecue out there. Something like 100 buses going down to the Ascot races, so I think the crew that are going will be certainly looking forward to that part of the tour.
Indeed, as Castro once again to Lehman. Lehman driving without any real power. Can't beat Muller or Muller if we decided on that name down at mid-off.
Also, the early part of the tour is the second test, which is at Lord's, and I think that's the highlight of a lot of tours. A lot of people go to see the home of cricket and see a test match between Australia and England, and the second test will be played at Lord's.
Castro again. Lehman short this time, and once again down leg side. He's come around the wicket this over, Eric, and just appears to have lost his line a little bit. He's bowled a couple of balls to Lehman well down the leg side in this over.
I don't think he really needed to come round. If he's bowling that genuine outswing, if he's going to bowl it round the wicket, they're all going to pass down the leg side. Now, also it opens up the area there for Lehman, if it's wide enough for the pads to play it quite comfortably down to that fine leg position.
Obviously trying to change the line, but it's not working at the moment as he once again around the wicket. This time he's got it in the right spot, very full, right into the block hole of Darren Lehman. And he digs it out and it squeezes it towards point.
And so after the second test, we have a 5-day coach tour. It goes from London up to Manchester for the third test at Old Trafford. What a magnificent ground that is. The home of, the Manchester United football team. And I think everybody's looking forward to the second and third test. Lord's and Old Trafford.
Old Trafford's certainly one of the classic arenas in world cricket.
Yes, certainly is.
As Castro once again to Lehman. Lehman is well bowled this one as it comes back in towards the stumps, but allowed to pass through to the keeper. And on the Home Mortgages Services scoreboard, South Australia currently 3 for 129.
Yeah, 3 for 129. So, there's a fair bit of cricket to see. 2 test matches. As I said, the Ascot races, as we're going up to Manchester, some people are going to have a look at Wimbledon, which is on as well. And after the Old Trafford test, after, as I said, it's a bus tour up there, and we're having a cricket match, the TJ 11 versus the Fritzy 11 in Cheltenham. A few of our people on the tour so far. We've got something like 50, pretty close to 50 now. We'll probably take around 80 as a maximum.
Jackson again to Simmons. Simmons down, and he's put him straight over the top of cover. Certainly hasn't got it. It's not going to go all the way, but it was great to see Simmons using his feet, coming down to Jackson, and they complete 2. Simmons moves along to 9. The score to 3 for 131. And Eric, there is space still available on this tour?
We've still got about, we reckon up to 30 seats, but I've had another 6 inquiries today, so we'll be sending information off to those people today.
Get in quickly as Jackson once again, Simmons allows this one to pass through to the keeper.
I guess with the test being on, there's a fair bit in the stock journal this week, and next week, and the week after. So if you see any information there on the Terry Jenner, Eric Freeman Defence of the Ashes tour, if you'd like to give us a ring, I'll give you some contact numbers in a moment.
And Jackson coming in once again, past umpire here. Olsen Simmons. Simmons sweeps, doesn't get it. And no runners, the keeper mops up.
So after the cricket part of the tour, TJ staying on then and taking, it's 23 or 4 at the moment have paid up and want to go on to Silverstone Grand Prix. and then also on to Scotland for the British Open Golf at Troon. You'd love to be there for that one, so.
I would indeed. Jackson once again. Golf, certainly one of my enjoyments. Siddons has managed to just push that back down to the bowler.
I'm trying to get your mate Bobby Gilbourne to go.
Bobby
He'd love to be on the golf at the British Open.
I reckon
he might even get a hit.
He'd probably be the only reason he'd go there is purely for the golf. I don't think he'd be too interested in much else. So Jackson once again, Siddons forward, and he just pushes that out to short cover, and he just played that one shot, Eric, where he used his feet, didn't quite get it, and he's just been pretty circumspect about coming down again since then.
Yeah, well, mid-off's back about 5 metres too, so be a little bit careful.
Jackson again, left arm over the wicket, bowling to Siddons. Siddons sweeps pretty well. He manages to hit it straight to the fielder at backward square, though, and they can just get the single. That's another single to Siddons. He moves along to 10. Lehman is 61 at the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. South Australia are 3 for 132.
110? 110?
This man has just found out how many Sip and Save outlets there are in South Australia.
110? 110?
In fact, Sip and Save is South Australia's largest liquor group.
110?
So wherever you are, from Gawler to Victor and beyond, you can be assured there's a Sip and Save hotel near you.
110?
Sip and Save. Low prices all year round. Sip and Save. Station sponsors of 5 RPH.
And another change in the bowling here at the Adelaide Oval with Muller being reintroduced into the attack. He'll be bowling to Jamie Siddons, who's on 10. Muller currently with none for 28 alongside of his name. The wicket takers today have been Castro with 2, Dale with 1, and the batsman out have been Johnson, who was bowled Castro for naught. Parker, who was caught behind off Castro for naught, and Marty Spall out for 50 as Siddons flicks this first delivery from Muller off his legs, gets it down the backward square. They'll look for 2. Siddons very quick between the wickets, comfortably gets back, and that's 2 more to South Australia. He moves along to 12, and the score along to 134 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Yeah, so the 31-day part of the tour worth just a bit over $6,300, and that's return air flights on Malaysian Airlines, 2 transfers to and from the Heathrow, Royal Ascot races, the 2 test matches, accommodation on bed and breakfast.
Muller to Siddons forward defensively, pushing it out towards Simmons in the covers, and no run.
Australian and UK departure taxes, sightseeing tours as specified in the itinerary, and transfers to the test, and tickets into both test matches. Now, they cost a fair bit in England. It's something around about the $45 to $50 a day for prime seats, which we've been able to secure. They're all included in the price of $6,300.
Muller once again to Siddons as he gets past the umpire bowls, just short of a length, and Siddons allows it to pass through to the keeper outside the off stump.
Now, if you want some information posted out to you today so that you'll receive it on Monday, if you'd like to give Rosalie a ring at All Purpose Travel on 82231466. That's Rosalie at All Purpose Travel, 82231466. Or myself at 84497743, or TJ on 015, that's Terry Jenner, 015794979.
Muller again to Siddons. Siddons plays that away from his body, takes the bottom hand off the bat, and squeezes it out towards point. And if there's any listeners out there that have got a spare $6,000, Eric, it sounds like a pretty good deal, and I wouldn't mind them throwing $6,000 my way so I could go.
Well, Crossfellow drawn tomorrow night. You can't get in it without a ticket, so you're urging, excuse me, a lot of people, as I said, somewhere around 50 have already paid, and we're going to limit it to 80, mainly because of our bus tours. They only take about 42 or so on the bus.
Muller yet again in the bowl. It's a nice little outswinger that Siddons is very watchful of. Just pushes forward and once again pushes it out towards Simmons in the covers.
So we expect the trip to be full sometime in February. Even from our announcements last week on 5 RPH during the New South Wales game, we had considerable response, and I've already had another 6 this morning that has given some indication that they're very interested in going. So numbers will fill fast on all-purpose travel. I'll give you those numbers again after.
Muller to Siddons again wide of the off stump, and this time Siddons allows it to go through to the keeper. and looks like drinks are about to be taken on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. South Australia drinks in the second session are 3 for 134. Simmons is on 12. Lehman is on 61. The batsman out Johnson without scoring. Parker without scoring, and Full for 50.
Yeah, so just before we give you, or go back to the studio for a couple of messages there, Darryl, just that number at all-purpose travel again at Wakeham Street, Adelaide, 11A Wakeham Street, Adelaide, is 088 223 1466. You ask for Rosalie this afternoon, and she'll have some information in the post for you. Or if you're down at the Adelaide Oval, call round and see Eric Freeman in the Bradman stand at some stage, and we'll give you some information on it. So drinks at the Adelaide Oval in the second session. At lunch it was 2 for 103. 31 runs have been added in the hour for the loss of 1 wicket. That was Marty Falls. And so on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, South Australia at drinks 3 for 134.
You know that Cowleys have been a tradition in South Australia for years, and that tradition continues today. Cowleys still have the pie floater and bake the largest range of pies, pasties and sausage rolls to satisfy any hunger. Cowleys also cater for those who like the sweeter things in life. Be tempted with one of their huge donuts or Berliners. And for something different, why not try vanilla sliced Danish wedge or Lamington? Remember, ask for Cowleys at your local store. Sponsors of 5RPH. For your next barbecue or function, call the home of top-quality continental and Australian small goods and premium fresh meat suppliers, Stand & Small Goods. Stand & Small Goods are the specialists. So for your next function and supplies of meats and small goods, call the home of top quality, Stand & Small Goods, at Hendon Factory and Shop, Central Market Adelaide, Junction Market Kilburn, Pelican Plaza Ridgehaven, Jan Street Newton and Colonnade Shopping Centre, supporting 5RPH. A good used car from a new car dealer. How much will you pay? Will it compare for value with Port Road Motorway, where every vehicle comes workshop tested with a service backup guarantee? And the value, no doubt you will agree there's a magic deal on a magic car at a price you want to pay at 808 Port Road, Woodville. That's Port Road Motorway, LMBD 87285. Proudly supporting 5RPH.
Are you receiving the very best in financial advice and planning? Patrick Whelan Investments, founded in 1978, is proudly South Australian and is operated by dedicated qualified professionals. Here's what KF of Fulham had to say.
We would not hesitate to recommend our friends to make a visit to Patrick Whelan's. We found them to be genuinely patient and very much up to date. Their excellent advice has made us feel confident that our future is secure.
For a free financial planning consultation, for listeners of 5RPH, ring Patrick Whelan Investments on 8272 2111. Patrick Whelan Investments, sponsoring 5RPH.
This cricket broadcast is brought to you by the Anti-Cancer Foundation. Remember, slip, slop and slap, supporting 5RPH.
And welcome back once again to the Adelaide Oval.
We need a bit of that slip, slop and slap on here over the weekend, because it's going to be very hot, I think, Darryl, that over the weekend forecast around the old century, the cloud, that misty cloud that we've had ahead this morning, which has been remnants, I think, of the cyclone from Western Australia. It's disappearing now, and I think it's going to get very, very warm this afternoon.
Yeah, the forecast in the mid-30s for tomorrow, and then the high 30s for Sunday and Monday. And Jackson takes up the attack once again to Lehman, who plays that just typically Lehman-ish, as he just leans on it and forces it through the cover area. They're going to get a very, very comfortable 3, and that was just a typical Lehman. Not really something you'd call a dashing shot, but he just seems to
just lean on it,
and forces it through the gap, and a very, very easy 3. And that's when you know Darren Lehman is in good form, when he plays that sort of shot. There's no effort in it, and it just fairly races towards the boundary.
Only 29 overs bowled up until lunch. It's very, very slow from Queensland.
Simmons on strike this time to Jackson. Simmons forward in defence. Short leg manages to just trot around, pick up the ball and return it to Jackson.
Go overtime. They're -3 already on the board. I guess with Jackson out there, they should really start to pick up the tempo a little bit.
There's 46 overs completed. Jackson again. Simmons forward. And the ball's wide of the stump, and he allows it to go through to the keeper.
Well, we've just had the halfway session of the day, so really they needed 50 overs, around about that at that stage. I guess you can always pick them up in a hurry when you want to later on.
They have two spinners, so certainly Foley may be introduced, and even Simon perhaps, so you would expect them to get through them with Jackson again. Simmons down the track this time, forcing it to mid-on. Both batters quick to respond. A very, very easy single in the finish. What looked to be a bit of a rush, but they had no dramas at all, and another single to Simmons. He moves on to 13. Lehman is 64, and on the home mortgage services scoreboard, South Australia 3 for 138.
Yeah, Marty Fall batting for 122 minutes. Yeah, straight after lunch. I don't know what he had in his lunch. We had a nice one.
Certainly disappointing for South Australia as once again this is down the leg side, but this time Lehman does get bat on ball. Sweeps it nicely, very, very fine. Batsmen have completed 2. The fielder is Castro coming round to pick it up. He relays it in, and the batsmen come back for a very easy 3. And that, Eric, was wide down the leg side. Lehman waited for the ball and managed to get it very, very fine. And that was the key.
He really caressed it, didn't he? He just around the corner. He knew where the gap was. He knew that Castro was a bit squarer. If he hit it to him, they'd maybe only get 1, but I think it was so wide, it just gave him that little bit of extra time to actually place the ball.
Certainly did as Simmons on strike again. Down the track this time, and he's got this one through the covers. Racing away, the fieldman chasing it. He may just pull it in, he dives and pulls it back into play. Some 5 metres inside the boundary. Very good return in, and Dale did a very good job there, and it looked like it was going to be 4. Siddons down the track once again, forcing it along the ground this time, through the covers, and it was 2 more to Siddons at the end of the over. And this session sponsored by All Purpose Travel. We thank them for their support. And currently, at the end of the over, South Australia 3 for 143.
Yes, I think these 2 batsmen have made up their mind that they're not going to let Jackson dictate terms out there. He bowled a couple of maidens to start with, but in that last over, we saw Siddons advance down the wicket. We also saw Lehman with the ball just on the leg side. He had time enough to put it round for 3 on the leg side there, down to fine leg. So they're not going to let this spinner bowl 20 overs, 12 maidens and none for 30 or something like that. They're going to try and take to him in this afternoon session. It's now worth 40, the partnership, so it's one that's building for South Australia. It's really got to double before a wicket falls.
Certainly the most experienced players in the South Australian side. Lehman on strike to Muller, and strokes that towards head off with no real power. It appeared to be pretty well off the middle of the bat, and Lehman just looks in very, very good touch at the moment.
Yes, there's no real tear-away bowler, no destructive one, I guess, in the side. They're mainly swing bowlers. Castro and Dale started off swinging the ball very well. Muller's a big, tall guy, around about the perhaps the 6'2" mark in the old scale. Got a run up of about 22 metres.
Goes to Lehman. Lehman not quite forward, not quite back, that one. Just got a bit tied up there. It looks as though he was looking to come forward, but the ball wasn't there to be forward to. And he was in no man's land, but fortunately for him, he managed to get enough bat on it to just drop it into the ground. And the ball rolled out towards cover.
Yes, he's the type of player that can change his mind pretty quickly and still play a safe shot, and that's exactly what happened. Muller has been moving the ball.
He once again bowls to Lehman. Lehman this time he gets it. Plays it very straight. Once again, just leaning into the shot and strokes it down to mid-off, where Kasparek has run, I guess, reasonably quickly after it without really extending himself. The batsman complete 2. Lehman goes to 69. Siddons is 15. South Australia 3 for 145. And just on the bowlers, Eric, talking about their bowlers being no real tear away. McDermott, do we know where he's at with his come back into
Well, I think
cricket?
it's probably going to be most of the season. I think that we're going to see him off the scene.
Muller once again to Lehman. This time it's wide of the off stump, and Lehman allows it pass through to keep a second.
The Queensland tend to play a lot of their games early. Already got 20 points on the board. And, I guess that after, well, it's after Christmas now, but you know, the test matches will be out of the way shortly. I guess if they're trying to nurse him along and perhaps bring him back for the finals, even because Queensland at this stage look as though they'll be in 1 or 2.
Certainly would be an acquisition for Queensland as Muller once again into Lehman. Lehman this time is back as the ball is short. Once again outside the off stump, and Lehman allows it to pass through to the keeper.
Yeah, they really need a class spinner in this side. Foley, I think, continues to show a lot of promise. He gives the ball a bit of air. I guess while he's here in Adelaide, that Ashley Mallett, who seems to saddle up alongside of a few of the spinners. I noticed with David Friedman down in the nets last Sunday, he was having a yarn to him.
Muller again into Lehman. Lehman forward in defence this time. Just back down on the wicket. And at the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, South Australia 3 for 145.
And Queensland now slipped another over behind the required rate. They're now -4. So in the 3 hours they've been so far, they have not maintained the over rate that they should be. And of course, this can have some effect on. It has on New South Wales, I think, and Victoria so far this season, that they have lost some points because they haven't bowled the required run rate. This wicket is getting drier and drier, and I think if these bowlers bowl half volleys to these two in about an hour's time, they'll see them disappear.
Simmons facing Jackson, tries to sweep. It's the second time in a couple of overs that Simmons has tried to sweep Jackson and hasn't made contact. Maybe just still a little bit lacking in confidence. Not the Jamie Simmons that we're accustomed to.
Well, it was outside the line of the leg stump, wasn't it? It might have been not quite as far up as expected.
Jackson once more. Simmons sweeps again. This time he does make contact. Gets it behind the man at backward square, and they're certainly going to look for two. He's going to have to hurry. The throw comes in. It's very close. But Simmons manages to make his ground. And it's 2 more to Jamie Simmons. He moves along to 15. And the score, 17. And the score to 3 for 147.
That's the 103rd umpire for this game. Not required at this stage. That was could have been close from a direct throw, but it'd be a pretty good throw from about 75 metres away to run Jamie Simmons out when he's going full steam.
Certainly the corners here at Adelaide Oval, they are very long throws as Jackson once again. Simmons down the track this time. That's a lovely shot. He's got to the pitch of that one. He's lofted it. 2, 3 bounces and into the fence, straight down the ground. And that's what we like to see. Simmons coming down the track, backing himself in, and really striking the ball beautifully, that one, Eric.
Well, as I said during the last over from Jackson, that these two batsmen, they're so experienced, they're not going to let this fella get on top. He bowled a couple of maidens to start with, and as he's done in recent years against South Australia, he always seems to bowl well against South Australia and tie the batsman down, but they're not going to let him do that today. Now, the mid-off has gone another 15 metres back. He's good 80, 90 metres from the bat at the moment.
I'm sure he's going to throw this one up and give... Well, he doesn't. He managed to bowl it very flat, and I thought, Eric, there the go would have been to give it a bit of air. He just put the man back, and almost there, Simmons to try the same shot.
Yeah, from 150 up, and we'll give you some details from Laurie Tolliver shortly.
Simmons leans over his bat again. Jackson bowls. Simmons was going to sweep, checked himself, and just managed to push it out to square leg where there wasn't a fieldsman, and the batsman completed an easy single. Simmons moves on to 22. Lehman is 69. And South Australia on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, 3 for 152.
And Simmons looking for runs at every opportunity now. The partnership worth 49. Last one between Ford and Lehman, 96 and 107 minutes.
Jackson to Lehman this time over the wicket. Lehman driving with a bit of power, but typical of Lehman, just stroking it rather than trying to hit it. It's fielded at mid-off. Completes the over from Jackson. Jackson currently none for 19. And South Australia 3 for 152.
On the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard.
That's the one.
That's the one. That's the big one here at Adelaide Oval, the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. What a magnificent scoreboard it's been for many years, and I hope it's there for perhaps the next 100 years. I'm not sure I really like some of the other scoreboards around the place because the scores seem to disappear at various stages when the commentators want to give a score. There's nothing there. They've disappeared. But you've got everything there at Adelaide Oval. You even get the little wave from Frank there when something's happening inside the scoreboard. He's just given us that little wave there now.
I doubt there's a better scoreboard in the world. There's Muller this time to Simmons. pushing the ball in towards Simmons' pads, and he pushes it out towards mid-on.
The guys do a wonderful effort up there, and the next 3 days is going to test them out in century heat conditions there under the old scale, around about the 100-degree mark forecast over the weekend. And, if you've ever been in there inside the scoreboard, it's a bit like a furnace. You'll see a few more of those shutters open over the weekend.
Muller again, short outside the off stump, and Simmons raises his bat and allows the ball to pass through the keeper. And we see a view there, Eric, of Jamie's haircut with the helmet off.
Pretty closely cropped. Saw him out there for the toss this morning. I think he's had the fresh shave there again on top. Still, it's the bat that does all the talking here for him, and he's making it talk this afternoon.
Certainly playing very well as Muller against Simmons. And Simmons once again, the ball outside the off stump, and on most occasions you would expect him to play at that ball, but once again allowing it to pass through to the keeper. And as we said before, he certainly looks to be a man on a mission today. He's been under a lot of pressure of recent weeks, and he appears to be leading from the front, and that's certainly what South Australia needs.
Well, two most experienced people out there.
353, South Australia, as Muller once again. Simmons in towards the pad. Simmons squeezes it, I guess you could call it, wide of mid-on, and they run through for a very easy single. And once again, this session in play brought to us by All Purpose Travel. And certainly we're proud to have them on board, pleased to have them on board. South Australia travelling along nicely after being in all sorts of trouble at 2 for 7. They've now moved the score along to 3 for 153, and certainly it's been an improvement as Muller once again, this time to Lehmann. Lehmann plays and misses. He tries to drive that through the covers. Maybe the foot wasn't quite there, and I'm sure the slips would have been anticipating an outside edge there and certainly hoping for it.
Yes, the foot came after the ball had gone past. The front movement there, the forward movement. It's Darren Lehmann. The partnership between he and Simmons, the 50 partnership, came up in 74 minutes. And the last 150 altogether in 194, the last 50 in 80, so you can see a very determined effort.
They'll strike again to Muller. This time he pushes the ball to mid-wicket where there is Jackson has to come across. That is scamper through for an easy single in the finish. And on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard, it is 3 for 154.
Yeah, 3 for 154. Not a bad position for South Australia midway through the afternoon. The over rate, as we've mentioned, has been very, very slow. In fact, Queensland something like 4 overs behind schedule here, and they've got to try and pick them up at some stage during the afternoon. But this wicket, the pitch is playing an absolute beauty at the moment. It's getting drier and drier. And I think if Jackson starts bowling a few half volleys at about 4:30 here this afternoon, he might start disappearing over that square leg boundary.
Jackson resumes the attack to Lehmann, and Lehmann pushes that down to back to the bowler, and we welcome back into the commentary for the next half an hour or so, Laurie Tolliver.
Thanks, Darryl. Lehmann on 70, facing the left arm orthodox spin of Jackson. Delivery, and Lehmann drives up to mid-off. There's no chance of a run. Fielded by Michael Kasparit.
He's done a fair bit of fielding today, Michael Kasparit. A couple of chases down here in front of us off the previous bowling of Muller. A couple of drives.
Jackson in again. Oh, Lehmann. Lehmann lost over mid-wicket out towards the boundary. And it goes into the fence for 4 and rebounds off the fence about 30 metres. Very firmly struck shot. Lehmann 74. It's 3 for 158.
Well, it might have been about an hour and a half out because he keeps bowling half volleys like that with no one out in the fence. He's only got a backward square leg on the fence. He's going to disappear into that rubble over there on the mid-wicket boundary because he's such a powerful striker of the ball.
Jackson again. Bowls. Lehmann forward defensively out towards short cover area. The bowler does the fielding. Currently in his 6th over, Jackson. No for 23.
He started off with a couple of maidens, didn't he? Was it 2 or 3?
two.
Two maidens.
Either side of lunch. Jackson. Bowls again. Lehman. Forward. Tight in defence. Goes out to short mid wicket. Fielded by the skipper Hayden. Now sporting a bald cap. He has a white floppy on for lunch. He's going for the cap. Jackson again. 3 for 158 on the home mortgage services scoreboard. He bowls to Lehman. Lehman drives up to Castro. It's fielding at mid-off the end of the over. 4 runs from it on the home mortgage services scoreboard. It's 3 for 158.
Can you imagine your bank giving free advice on how to secure a better home loan elsewhere? Well, that's exactly what you'll get from Peter Buss at Home Mortgage Services. How? Home Mortgage Services deal with a number of banks, and by matching their various home loan options to your individual requirements, Peter will find the very best deal for you. And who pays? The bank. Makes a nice change, doesn't it? Phone Peter Buss now on 8410-5677. Home Mortgage Services, proudly supporting 5 RPH.
3 for 158. Session of play brought to you by All Purpose Travel. As Muller comes in, bowls to Siddons. Gets the Yorker, which he digs out up to mid-on. And there's no run. Well, Eric Freeman taking a break. And back in the chair, Brad Wigney. Good afternoon, Brad.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure for you to have me back, Laurie. Now, Muller, I've been impressed with Muller's bowling today. He's carried through the wicketkeeper second, and he's bowling good outswing, and to Darren Weber, he's moved a couple across him that Darren's played and missed, but a very good ball.
Next delivery to Siddons. He comes forward, does Siddons, and pushes back up the wicket. Fielded at mid-off by Jackson.
Yes, as we've been talking about how impressive this partnership's been. Somewhat reserved, I guess you could say, Jamie Simmons, but I don't think it's the fact that that's the way he wants it to be. It's the way that they've bowled to him, and I think it's allowed Jamie to play himself in, and I think he'd be more than happy with the way they've bowled to him.
Again bowls outside the off stump. And no shot offered by the Redbacks skipper.
There's an old saying in cricket that you can't make runs back in the shed, and Jamie Siddons and Darren Weber together have just know that if they occupy the crease long enough, guys of their calibre, the runs come, and that goes for any cricketer out there. That you'll find if you can occupy the crease long enough, the runs will come.
Next delivery from Muller to Siddons, outside the off stump again. Siddons not offering a shot. Siddons 23, Lehman 74. He's on 11. 3 for 158. The batsman out in this innings. Johnson without scoring. Parker also without scoring. Ball made 50.
Yes, we're talking about Jamie Siddons and how he's played himself in, but he hasn't had any half volleys to go after, hasn't had any wide ones. He's just had balls that are outside off something he's been able to let go, and it's worked in his favour.
Next delivery, see Siddons push up to mid-on. And shooted there by Michael Castro. Has 2 wickets for 44. Dale 1 for 31. They are the wicket takers.
In the event of Darren Lehman making 100, Laurie, it'd be worthwhile, as I said earlier, for people to come down and watch this last session, especially if these two are here, because Darren Lehman, once he gets to another target like 100, he goes, and he goes hard.
Muller bowls outside the off stump. Shouldered arms through to the keeper. At the end of a maiden over, Muller's figures now 10 overs, 2 maidens. No wicket for 34. It's 3 for 158 on the home mortgage services scoreboard.
And I think we've only ever seen Darren Lehman loft 1 ball, and that was off Jackson in his previous over.
Yep.
That was the first one we've seen hit in the air. So that goes to prove that you don't have to hit the ball in the air to score runs. And Darren Lehman does it time and time again, just hits the ball on the ground and accumulates runs very quickly.
So Jackson will bowl again to Lehman. That's commenced over number 52 of this Redback first innings. As Eric mentioned earlier, the Bulls about 4 overs behind at the moment. Finally, Jackson should help the over 8 here as the first delivery is forced out in the onside by Lehman. Fielded at forward square leg by Jimmy Marr. 3 for 158. Jackson left arm over the wicket. Bowls to Lehman. Lehman drives through the cover field out towards the northwestern corner of the ground. The batsmen have got 2. Coming back for 3. They should run 4 here. Siddons hurrying through. And an easy 4 to Darren Lehman. He moves along to 78. It's 3 for 162.
It really amazes me the fact that the Bulls are 4 overs down in a session, nearly 2 sessions gone. When you look at the bowlers they've got, well, Castro, which doesn't run off a long way compared to other teams, I guess, and Muller doesn't. And certainly Darwin's got a very short run up and get through his overs quickly. It's amazing that they're 4 overs down.
Jackson bowls. Lehman forward, back to the bowler.
I can't really, I guess at the time they must be just sauntering through after each ball rather than pushing themselves through. That's amazing though, because they haven't got overly long run-up. They've got a spinner operating, or had 2 spinners operating.
Jackson, in again. This one drifts in the air, but Lehman dispatches it over the mid-wicket boundary for 4. So 2 fours missed over to Lehman. He moves to 82. It's 2 for 160. Sorry, 3 for 166.
Now, this is where a lot of people are amazed with Darren Lehman. As I said, when he was on 50, he gets to a stage where he just goes bang, and you can't stop him. He goes through the 90s quicker than anyone else I've ever seen. There's no such thing as a nervous 90s for Darren Lehman. All of a sudden, he's 90 and then he's 100. Can we see this come up, the 100 come up before the tea interval?
2 men on the fence for the batting of Lehman, and he pushes forward again to Jackson, and fielded by the bowler. His shirt's hanging out too, Brad.
Yeah, it must be the boys' shirt. They're short. Shane Warne trend, I'm telling you.
3 for 166. Jackson bowls close to stumps. Lehman drives up the mid-off. Thought about a quick single, but stumbled. Decided not to run. So the end of the over on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. 8 runs off the over. 3 for 166.
For massive savings on the whole range of Toyotas, factory bonuses and amazing trade-ins, call on your Toyota dealer during their fantastic ho-ho-ho sale. Gordon all displayed at Barossa Valley Toyota Tanunda, Chris Sutton at Chris Sutton Toyota Murray Bridge, Nile Toyota Whyalla, Shane Grover Toyota Port Augusta and Adelaide Hills Toyota Mount Barker, supporting 5RPH.
3 for 166 here at the Adelaide Oval. As Muller will continue from the southern end, owing to the redback skipper Jamie Siddons. Siddons drives through the cover field out towards the boundary for 4. That was a beautiful shot.
Magnificent shot from Jamie's end. One of the very few balls that have been over-pitched to him. We saw one, probably his first scoring shot or his second scoring shot, where he got 4 off Castro, and then I think this is the next time we've seen one over-pitched, and he was right in position, and magnificent execution of a cover drive. He picked up 4 runs.
3 for 170. This partnership now worth 67 on the Home Mortgage Services scoreboard. Of course, this session being brought to you by All Purpose Travel. 2 slips in a gully, extra cover mid-off, mid-on, forward square leg and a long leg as Muller bowls. Forward comes Siddons, and the ball rolls up to Jackson, fielding at mid-off.
Yeah, Darren Lehman looks comfortable, but I can assure you he's not as comfortable as what he looks. I was up in the dressing room just before to see the doctor, and he wasn't there at the time. But Paul Wilson was getting some tablets for Darren Lehman. He was suffering from a headache, and I've noticed he's had the hat off a lot today, or the helmet off a lot today, and a couple of overs before lunch he called for the hat.
Muller bowls, Siddons gets the inside edge onto the pad as he tried to drive. Ball rolls up to mid-off.
So he is pretty hot under that helmet. And I would have thought he'd be even hotter with the helmet off. But, he's got a bit of a headache. But, nothing holds back our Uncle Buff. Just shows how much determination he has got if he's suffering from a bit of a headache. I suppose everyone does when they bat such a long time. But, that won't alter the way he plays.
Muller bowls. Siddons forward defensively. Out to cover. There's no run. So Siddons 27, Lehman 82. 3 for 170, and I don't want to put the jinx on the skipper, but of all the games I've seen him playing this year, this is the best he's looked.
Yeah, well, Jamie, as we've said time and time again, he's a very proud man of what he does and what what he's achieved. I guess that doesn't worry him too much, but that's what he's doing out there in the middle. It means most to him, for especially his team and how his team goes.
Another bowl. Siddons drives back down the wicket on the onside. Chase for Jackson. The batsmen have two. Should run back for an easy three. Jackson gets to the ball now. And 3 further runs to